back on.
The glowing sky, it bends the light, the quickest way for you.
Vocal mixing is one of the most difficult things to get right when it comes to producing or mixing music. I have made the end-all be-all vocal mixing template that's just going to save you a lot of time and headache and make your vocals sound amazing. I've been recording and mixing vocals over 20 years now. So what I did is I took everything I've learned over those past 20 years and I've just put all of that into this template and into these custom racks I've built. Let's check it out. Now this might look overwhelming, but I promise you I've made this so it's not going to be overwhelming actually. Let's just talk through it. This first part, if you have Ableton 12, there's this whole tuning section. If you're still on Ableton 11 and you get that version of my vocal template, it's not going to have any of this tuning because AutoShift is a new device that just came with Ableton 12. You always have to select what key your song is in. You know, make sure you match that. But other than that, all of the different ways you might use this, I've actually made macros here. And I've even also made some snapshots of some really fun, just different things you might want to try that are cool. But clean tuning is just overall going to work well and probably help tune your vocals. Okay. After that, it's like the actual mixing part here. So let's hear what we've got.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
Just a raw vocal.
I
I believe this was recorded with an SM7B, and this is no processing. What the main part of mixing this has is, first of all, a low cut, okay? This is anything under this frequency, we're just going to get rid of completely, you know, like a hard high pass, up to 150, because sometimes higher female vocals, you can get rid of that much. A low male vocal, you probably still don't need anything under 60 hertz. And this range is just a reasonable range for you to work with, so.
Leave it open, let some light pour
Let's get rid of,
in.
you know, all of that stuff, and then demud, especially like an SM7, muddy, right? There's a lot of that low mid mud with that kind of a mic. And so
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
nothing crazy. I'm only capping it here at -5 dB at the most, but this should really help if your vocal's muddy to scoop that much out of it. Listen to the difference
Leave
here.
it open, let some light pour in.
Also, with a darker, like dynamic mic, probably needs some top end, so you might want to add air.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
This is just kind of like a 7K and up shelf, and you just get some of that brighter nuance and vibe if the vocal needs it.
Leave it open, let some light pour.
And if you feel like the S's are too harsh in your vocal, you can de-ess it.
Leave it open, let some light pour in. Leave it open, let some light pour in.
All right, compression. We want to compress a vocal also, right? So this threshold is just set to a range where it's going to be reasonable and not overly compressed or crazy.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
You can hear it gets quieter, right? The more you compress something, the quieter it gets. So you can make up that gain.
Let some light pour in. I woken from a dream.
If you need or want to. Now we're going to saturate the vocal, and again I've set this up so that the range of the macro is within reason. Even if you push it, it's not going to full on distort.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
And I've also, as the saturation is going up, the output of the saturator is coming down, so you're not going to hear it get louder, it's just going to get more saturated.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
Subtle. Saturation is subtle. You want it subtle. And last, we have a final gluing. This is even at the end of the entire thing, even after all of the reverb and more EQ and all that stuff. You can do some final just gelling, subtle compression. It's just going to help keep things a little more, you know, controlled.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
Okay, so it's still dry. We haven't gotten to the effects rack yet, but let's just listen to the difference.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
And with the rack on.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
Sounding a lot better. Vocals need more EQ love than just those demudding and air. So if you look here, there's a do more if needed, where you can open that up and actually do other stuff, then you're ready to apply the effects. And which brings me to my favorite part of this rack, the effects rack. First, let's just look at reverb.
Leave it open, let some light pour
I'll solo the vocal, okay? Reverb volume and reverb time.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
It's like a small 250 millisecond room at the smallest, and I think 3 seconds at the longest.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
Okay? And what I'm really proud of is there's a reverb switcher built in here. So if I open this up, you can see that there's a Ableton stock reverb, hybrid reverb, and only if you have Suite, you can access Reverb Switcher 3 with a convolution reverb, okay? And so let's hear those different characters.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
Okay? I chose a really nice vocal sound for the hybrid reverb. It's also tied to the volume.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
Then you have convolution reverb on Switcher 3.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
But the reverb time can't be controlled on the macro. You're gonna have to go into that if you want to change it, but it's just a nice sound I chose for it. A lot of times reverb is muddy.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
So you can take the mud out of the reverb.
Leave it open, let some
And hear that sum?
light.
If the S's are too sizzly in your reverb, you can de-S so that those aren't even going into it really.
Let some light pour.
So you can really control like there being less of those sizzle tails in the reverb if you want, and you can make it less muddy.
Let some light pour in. Let some light pour in.
Okay, so already that should be sounding nice.
Leave it open, let some light pour in. I woken from.
But my favorite part now is the delays. So 2 different delays, and here's how they're set up, okay? First of all, the delay volume. Delay number 1.
Leave it open, let some light.
So that's cool. There's a feedback also.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
You can hear that having the delay up, it's just on top of the vocal getting in its way the whole time. It's sloppy, it's messy.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
That's where delay ducking comes in, where I've done some complex routing in the background, and this delay is actually going to sidechain out of the way when the singing happens. So check this out.
Leave it open, let some light pour in. Leave it open, let some light pour in.
It just comes up in the gaps. This is extreme, and you have this whole range to play with where the gets out of the way. This is like the pro tip stuff here. I just built it into the rack. So boom. Then when you get it kind of where you like, you still mix it and probably pull the delay volume back a bit. I usually have it in the like minus 15-ish place of just being tucked, you know? Also, if you wanted the filter delay,
Leave it open.
you can play with how filtered that is or not.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
Then you have another one, delay 2. It's a quarter note.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
Okay, but again, it's kind of on top of the vocal, so let's duck it to the vocal.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
A lot more controlled, and I'll still tuck it back.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
Right? How awesome is that? Last, we have a slapback if you want that real quick stereo delay.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
So let's hear all of this versus dry.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
On.
Leave it open, let some light pour in.
You're pretty much there. Here it is in context.
Leave it open, let some light pour in. I woken from a dream so full of sin.
Versus the whole rack off.
One way for you to climb in. Though I'm not feeling sure of where you have been.
Put it back on.
No, the glowing sky, it bends the light. The quickest way for.
After all this is said and done, one last EQ as needed, because now there's new stuff in the effects, and you usually still want to like do little scoops of things that are problematic. And then at the very end of all of it, I also gave you this final gain, so you could click on gain and automate the volume of your vocal on the track as needed so it's the right volume the whole time, and boom, you are good to go. One last thing, if you open up the snapshots, I've actually already set up some, unprocessed, and you just go from there versus a female vocal. This is more or less going to be a great starting point. Male vocal, great starting point. Obviously, you should always use your ears, and every song and vocal needs different treatment, but this will just get you close. And then again, if you have the effects rack snapshots here, if you're on female here, match it to female here. If you're on male vocal here, match it to male vocal here. It's going to complement it. And then if you want just a subtle slapback, that's one, and lots of effects, there you go. So I also gave you some little snapshot presets. Now, since this is a vocal template, I've also set it up with all of these things you might want as extras. Like obviously we have a lead vocal, right? Well, I also made a lead doubles group if you wanted to have two different doubles. It's already panned, how it might sound cool. You could obviously change that. If you want to layer your main vocal with an octave up, here's two of those with some panning where those might sound good. Harmonies, if you're gonna do harmonies, here's 1, 2, 3. And if you want a background ooh or ah vocal pad, here's 4 different parts with doubles for each one, already panned in a way that typically was just gonna sound wide and amazing. Each one of these has the vocal mixing rack on it, ready to go. And if you're just first writing a song and laying down a scratch vocal, I even gave you this great, for an SM57 scratch vibe in the studio. And I'm pretty confident that if you play around with this, you will get really excellent results, whether you're super advanced or just starting out and kind of don't know anything about it. This is going to work out really well for you. I would love to hear your feedback on it if you check it out.